Yeah. Niners coast to coast, baby.
Hello, it is time to start the show. And I'm going to get started right after this.
What's going on, folks? How we all doing tonight?
What's good? What's
Oh
good?
my goodness.
Dude, you still dealing with work stuff?
Yeah, it can wait. It can wait till I can get on my laptop at work because it's easier.
Sweet.
But yeah, technology these days, folks. I might be a maintenance guy, but I still have to, log my employees' time and all this other stuff. What do you go birds? It's for the birds. What's up, Spongy?
Spongy.
What's up, Dan Schultz? Cracking Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. What's happening?
Yep.
Bebop
in the house. What's going on?
What's cracking, buddy?
Welcome, everybody.
Did we ever get a chance to talk about George Kittle's deal, or was that happened after our last show?
It happened after, yeah. As most
so
things
here
do.
We are. And I was actually reading on how it's very team friendly.
Yep.
He's not costing us $30 million a year. He's not, making dance videos because some other tight end signed some big contract.
Imagine that.
And it's just a good thing. George Kittle should be a 49er for life.
Most definitely.
And of course, there are those who have said, "Oh, we should have traded him for that second round pick." Really? I think his production offsets the chance of that second round pick not being anything myself. So, there's always a chance that you can take a guy, this guy fell all the way to the third round. He was a first round grade. You take him, there's a reason they fell to the third round, folks.
Yeah.
Tommy Huxley. Can't show that one, but I can show this one. They're really birds. They're small dogs called beagle. Oh, shoot. But, George Kittle, Niner for life. That's fantastic. Right. Brock Purdy contract update. There you go. There's nothing to report there.
Yeah, there's no update. Same thing.
Of course, people are writing letters. Well, they're getting closer. Do you guys like pointing out the obvious? Or is that just me?
It's the same old crap. They're working on it. They're getting closer. Brock is there, so it must be going good. It's no real updates. It's just the same old sound bites over and over. And it's like 1 week, this insider says it. Then the next week, another insider says it. And they just keep passing it around.
It's like, hey, buddy, it's your turn. Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's terrible. So yeah, the way we take turns on YouTube, that's the way they take turns saying the same thing about these contract talks.
It starts out with they're way far apart. The Niners under what is it called? Tried lowballing him, and then it slowly increases. It's like the same guys. Come on.
Yeah.
There's nothing to report. Like Brock Purdy signed his contract extension. There you go. There's something to report. But at this point, no, it hasn't happened yet. So hurry up and wait. He's still showing up. He's still showed up.
Yeah, he's there. He's working out, and that's a positive thing. We've seen him working out with all the players. There's no reason for him not to work out, to be honest with you. Like get the reps in, get the work in. Diamador Lenore went through his contract thing last year and showed up for everything. So, like, take his example.
Oh yeah, Diamador Lenore said, "Yeah, well, I'll worry about it later," and he just showed up and played the season, and they got him in the middle of the season. So
Mm-hmm.
But Jess, what's cracking?
What's going on,
Speaking of,
Jess?
tune into East Coast Red and Gold Wednesday at 6. Well, 6 my time. It's actually 5
right.
p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There you go.
So
we do the
I'm in the forgotten time zone, which is Mountain Standard Time, just so y'all know.
7 Central. There you go. We'll cover everything.
Yes, we got them all. But hope Fred gets paid too. Now, you never know. I mean, it could be a team-friendly deal, just like Kittle.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If the part of these negotiation talks is that the 49ers are always finding a way to make these contracts team-friendly, right? Because they don't want to be stuck in cap hell. That's why they did everything they did this offseason, so they won't be in cap hell in the future. And they structure these deals to try to ensure that that doesn't happen either. So Fred, if he gets an extension, it'll be just to save cap money, this year. But he has 2 years left on his deal. There's no urgency for him to get an extension this year. Because like I said, 2 years left. Most guys get their extension with 1 year. So he can wait. Brock is the guy that needs to be focused on right now.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just reading some funny stuff going on in my chat there. But, and yeah, the Niners drafted Mikael Williams, and I know a guy who doesn't like it. Oh, he's on my do not draft list. Why? I wasn't necessarily the highest on him, but I wasn't hating the pick when they took him.
Mm-hmm.
He played on a high ankle sprain for, an extended period of the season.
Basically a whole year.
Yeah. And, he's still playing the run. He's still up there, getting blocked by the offensive lineman. So his, linebacker buddy can run around and get the sack or run through the running back,
he did his job.
That's exactly it. He did his job.
He did it well.
Dirty work had a lot to do with what he does. And that's
the
type of guy we need on the Niners.
Exactly. Playing through injury and to play well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely the type of guy we need. And we mentioned this last week, and guys, we've seen guys on our team get a high ankle sprain and they're out 4 to 6 weeks. They're just gone. I think he missed 2 weeks and just played through it. So, we definitely need some of that on the roster.
Oh, yes. Our guys, they get a high ankle sprain. They seem to be out half the season.
Exactly.
But now Spongy.
Oh,
we'll see what he ends up being. But the Bengals took him, if you don't remember. So I was not wanting him.
Yeah. I didn't know much about him, but I spoke to Steph Sanchez, and I trust Steph. And I know I wanted a real 3-down lineman who's balanced, can play the run and rush the passer. That's more Williams than Stewart.
Yes.
So that's why I was higher on Stewart. Higher on Williams than Stewart, and happy we got him.
I am 100% happy with the pick.
Oh, yeah.
I think, he's a prototypical edge. He's 6'5".
Exactly.
I believe he's pushing 270 at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got speed, athleticism.
He can get up to 275, 280, get some good weight on him, and still maintain that control to really be like a pure edge guy.
And that's just what we've needed, And then we drafted a couple guys in the middle, Collins, West. I like both of them.
Yep.
You know, when it comes to pass rushing skills, yeah, they could use some work, but that's what we got that coach for, right?
Exactly. But they have. I've watched some tape on them, and they have the ability to beat one-on-ones. They have the ability to push the pocket and get pressure on the quarterback and get to the quarterback, right?
Yep.
And like in our system, in what we do, I think they'll be given a chance to do that more than they did in college. And I think they'll excel at it. I have real high hopes for them. What's going on, Dion?
What's up, Dion? What's cracking? And yes, Dion, we did neglect the O-line again. This would be, I believe, the third season in a row we've actually neglected the O-line. It's kind of...
I believe it just didn't fall in our favor.
Yeah. Well, I was actually looking at Pick 100, believe it or not, while the draft was happening. You know, I was live. And I was looking at Pick 100, and the Raiders take Rodgers and a guy that the Niners have had several conversations with that I was high on from a little school, Charles Grant, right before us.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that I believe that was our O-line spot, right? We addressed the defensive front with the defensive end, the tackle, and the linebacker. I believe we were at that point. And the O-linemen were just dropping to us. They were right there. Like, I think that would have been our chance to grab one. And the Raiders took them both. So it's like, okay, we got to check our board. Who do we have? Do we just go for this guy because he's an offensive lineman? Or do we go with this higher guy that fills a need? And I believe they trusted the board. You go with the higher guy that fills a need. And that was the cornerback.
Yeah, John Lynch says it just didn't fall that way. You know, how the draft went. And there were a few other guys that I liked. I wasn't necessarily thinking these guys are going to be Pro Bowlers. No, I was thinking they were going to be average, a little bit better than average, you know, at that point. But, you know, they didn't draft them either. We got Connor Colby. Yeah. A guy from a zone blocking scheme, you know, really good run blocking guard that played left, right guard, and I'll actually play tackle.
Yeah.
So, you know, we got a versatile lineman, but we did only get one, you know.
Well, looking at the roster pre-draft, like defensive line was much bigger need than offensive line. Like if the season played out, we could reach the Super Bowl with the offensive line we'd have. I know other people will say, no, we can't, but we just did it a season ago. It's basically the same offensive line, right? We reached the Super Bowl with that. But that defensive line and the holes and just the scarcity of it, I don't think we could have reached the Super Bowl with that defensive line. Even with Robert Saleh there working his magic, we still needed more bodies. So this year, and Dion brings up a good point. This year was about fixing the defense, addressing that. Now, I'm going to look to the future. Next year, it's going to be the complete opposite because there's a lot of offensive linemen coming out. And with those picks, now you address the O-line. Now you look for those upgrades, those blue chippers. Unfortunately, next year, we won't be picking high in the draft like we were this year.
No,
that's the way it is.
Well, we're hoping we're not picking high in the draft.
We won't. This 1 year anomaly where we were just burnt out, guys weren't executing. That was just a 1 year anomaly.
And Dion, to answer your question, you got to go way back before Lynch and Shanahan, I think. Like, way back. So, I see your point. It's like Kingston last year. They cut him to keep a couple guys that were...
Yeah, they shouldn't have.
You know, like NFL vets. Mm-hmm. But you cut a guy that actually would play decent in the preseason, had a lot of snaps at left guard, you know, and has upside for a couple of NFL vets that are you only had on a 1-year deal. So it was like, I don't know if that was incredibly wise, but of course the Carolina Panthers swooped in and, we'll take him.
Teams will swoop up good young offensive linemen. We know that.
But, ooh, dang, Dion, even with our record, with our schedule, maybe the 7th spot. Oh, I don't know. We don't know how the season's going to transpire. I mean, all the guys we let go, Hufunga played a couple games. He's injured most of the time, right? Greenlaw
basically played without him last season. Greenlaw played without him last season.
Yeah. Aaron Banks was
he got injured some, so he was in and out.
Replaceable though, 100% with Ben Barch or Nick Zakel could step in and do that same thing.
We saw Barch step in and play well. We saw Spencer Burford
actually. Well. Burford played really well at left guard, so that's a possibility right there.
Had him at his natural left side where he belongs, and look at that, he played well. Imagine that, Chris Forrester. Anywho.
Oh, I know. We always draft tackles and make them guards. That's just how it works. They draft a guard. We're cutting them. It's like, but, at this point, we got Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh was in the draft room most of the time. Obviously, with our first, 5 picks, being defense. Then he decided to take lunch, and they picked some offensive play.
We addressed the biggest needs first. It was the biggest needs first, and I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it at all. I think the picks were great. They fit exactly what we needed. We got guys that match what we do, and I think they're going to play and play well. Like I said, Robert Saleh will have them in the position to succeed. So I got high hopes for
him. Well, our defensive players, I'm like a guy like Nick Martin, and some people use the term reach. Shout out to Kenny 49ers in the chat.
Shout out to Kenny. Oh yeah. Mr. Reach.
But that's a relative term because you're looking at a player ranking on some site. And if you go back through my mock draft series, you will see I say several times that these guys are all over the place with the rankings.
Mm-hmm.
One guy will have a guy ranked 100th. The next side will have him ranked 240.
Yeah.
It's like it varied big time on any player. Pretty much, but the top 10 were pretty much the top 10 guys.
Right.
It's just what order are they in,
Yeah.
But all the other guys, once you hit past the second round, it's hit and miss when it comes to that stuff, Eddie.
Like you said, that's the thing. I hate the reach conversation and all that stuff. We'll talk about that in a second, but. It's like ESPN has a guy ranked, at a number. And it's like, that's ESPN. What does that have to do with the 49ers? Absolutely nothing. Right? Has nothing to do with the 49ers and what their team needs are and where they pick in the draft. It has nothing to do with the team. So to be like, oh man, the PFF had this guy ranked, X, and we took him at Y. We shouldn't have done that. No. PFF ain't got nothing to do with us. And screw PFF.
Wow. So, at this point in time, that someone came out with a chart about reaches, and they called Renardo Green a reach, although he played up to the point where I don't think that's a reach.
He
When it
became a
comes to
starter
me,
mid-year.
you won't hear me grading the draft. Okay, I do not do that. Right off the bat, you don't know what those players are going to do on the field. This is my argument. You do not know what they're going to be. You don't know what they're going to do. You can't just say, "Oh, our draft stunk," because you don't know what the players are going to do. Yeah, we could have. Yes, the Niners definitely could have gone a different direction. And a lot of us didn't like what happened with the offensive line and them just not taking it. Yes, Kyle and Forrester are happy with the guys we have, which a lot of us aren't. Let's be frank. A lot of us aren't,
But fuck it.
but
There, I said it. I'm happy with it. Let's go.
But the thing is we signed a guy like Matt Hennessy midway through last year. So here he is coming into the offense. Kyle's not going to play him. Brindle's already out there. So now, are they going to let Hennessy and these other guys compete with Brindle at center? Yet to be seen.
I think so.
They do. Hopefully they do.
I think so. I think there's competition in the middle there. Well, not Pooney. Right guard is solidified. But center and left guard, there's going to be competition. And unless someone steps up and really challenges Colt McKivitz, like that's fine there. But center and left guard, I think there's open competition there. And like Kyle didn't say it because he may have to default to this guy, but I think there's going to be competition. Like everyone knows we need an upgrade, right? This guy is like average to below average, however you want to rake him. We need an upgrade, but we've had one with him before. So it's like, who's going to step up and take the job? And that's where we got to get these young guys in and playing.
Okay, so Brindle's actually good when he's run blocking a linebacker or safety. I mean, you put him up against a defensive lineman, he's not doing so hot.
That was McGlinchey. McGlinchey was hot shit blocking a linebacker and a safety. Right? That's why PFF gave him those big run grades, because he would get out on the edge and block someone smaller than him, and it's like, whoo, that's great. That's right. He was a reach. So, it's like, what you going to do? I'm very interested in camp this year, just to see center and left guard, that competition, and see how it goes.
Papa J, what's cracking? Yeah, I can't wait to see Brindle going up against these young guys too. They didn't have great sack stats as Dion brought in earlier, but they're dirty work guys, and our run defense absolutely stank. So now we bring in 3 defensive linemen to shore up the run defense, and we still have guys to rotate in like Jordan Elliott and Evan Anderson. I'm kind of excited to see the 3 youngsters on the field there.
He got a lot of rotation last year, and he did well. I like
and we got Kevin Givens.
Big Kev,
his size, he could rotate out to edge on running downs if we need him to, we'll just see. Typically we keep 9-10 linemen, we'll just have to see how the competition falls out. But we didn't actually get any undrafted free agent offensive tackles this year, which kind of surprising. We did get a guard in Moss though.
Yeah.
And I just don't see any of these guys actually cracking the roster, because of how Shanahan is, right?
That'd be camp bodies.
Yep.
I mean, we signed the offensive lineman that used to play for the Cardinals and the Chiefs. I'm drawing a blank right now. What's his name? Help me out, chat.
The offensive who?
The offensive tackle we just signed.
DJ Humphries.
DJ Humphries. Thank you. He signed DJ.
So he does have a good history. He suffered a knee injury in it was December of 2023, an ACL.
Yep.
You know, he had it fixed, and he pretty much rehabbed on the Chiefs. The Chiefs signed him because they're just desperate.
They're desperate for linemen.
And pretty much rehabbed on them, you know, and now here it is. It's going to be, what, year and a half, you know, if not more, removed from that ACL. So he should be back to normal. And the guy actually is a good player, though.
Yeah.
So they signed him to a prove-it deal. You never know. What if he comes in and pushes McKivitz out the starting spot? Now, McKivitz would make a decent backup swing tackle.
Yeah. Either one would, right? So, like I said, there's going to be competition. Like DJ Humphries is experienced playing on the left side and right side. So he could be the swing, but like you just mentioned, we know McKivitz can't handle speed rushers. Like, and if DJ can, then hey, and this run blocking is good, then hey, you never know. So we'll see. I think there's competition along the line. That's why I'm that, like, camp. That's the only position I'm really going to be looking at, the offensive line, to see what comes of it. Everything else, I'm kind of fine. Let the chips fall where they may. There's not many chips to fall, I believe. But the O-line, yeah, everyone should be zoomed in on that.
And yes, Kitty, the Chiefs did move on from him, but they also signed Jalen Moore, and they drafted a guy with a patella knee injury at the end of the first round in Josh Simmons. So, you know, that's their plan. That and, you know, Kingsley Salmontua, you know, the future Chiefs Hall of Famer.
Yep.
No, we don't. Yeah, I'm just, there's a reason we let the Chiefs trade up in front of us and pick him, though. I'm going to say that right now. You know, Roger Rosengarten was that guy in 2024 that they were looking at.
Yeah.
And the Ravens said, nope.
Ravens swiped in. And that's another example of a team swooping in, grabbing a player, and you're like, okay, where do we go from here?
I know. And so we brought back Ross Dwelly. There we go. We're going to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl bound. Just saying.
He's actually a good special teams tackler, though. I'll give him credit.
Yeah, exactly. You got to think about it from that perspective. Special teams.
Yes, Kenny. Yes, I know.
They will.
Drinking my beer, watching grown men cry. If you watch the 49ers, this was the fourth year you should have known no LL. Shame on you. Hey, 3 years in a row. In 2022, we took Zakellen Burford.
Don't draft linemen every year. It's just a matter of them working out. Pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure Jared Kingston's working out in Carolina. I'm just saying. Like, you know, come on, Kyle. You got to keep them young, cheap contracts around, buddy.
Exactly.
You know?
Sometimes you make the wrong roster move. It happens to every team every year.
It's like, remember when we waived, what was it, DJ Reed on that injury?
DJ Reed.
It was like an injury waiver, and the Seahawks said, yep.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know. But what can you do? You know, how did they didn't know that the Seahawks would swoop in and grab an injured guy, but they did. Yeah. Ended up working out for them because, you know, and then he went and signed. He's actually, I believe, on contract number 2 now. You know, that's how long ago it was.
Yeah. Where is he playing now? I forget. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I'm actually looking at Jared Kingston right now. Jared Kingston. Why is it showing? That's interesting. Oh, that's Tatum Bethune. Why are you guys showing Tatum Bethune? That's crazy. I'm just looking to see if you actually started a game for him last year. But it's Jarrett Kingston too.
Yeah.
My bad. Is it Jarrett?
Yeah, Jarrett.
Yes, it's Jarrett.
Yeah, but Dwelly is good on special teams. He can catch passes, so he may not be a bad option for a tight end 3, tight end 2. Run a little 12 personnel with him, maybe some 13 personnel. Get him out on some routes to run. He can pay dividends for us.
Well, he played 7 games for him last year, so that's interesting. It just says offensive guard, but now who is? Whoa! Yeah, that's where a lot of the mock draft databases had him going. I don't think he was off the board till the 4th or 5th. But that's how it goes, you know. Like I said, all because the draft, the draft board for the different mock simulators says one thing, that doesn't mean it's reality, right?
Yep.
But when was he drafted? 22 years of age. He was drafted by the Giants. So Ty, you got any news?
News? Nope. It's all quiet. It's that 40 days before camp. Rookie money camp starts next week. That's about it. So we can see some rookies show up. We can see what numbers they'll be playing in, hopefully.
Yeah, it was an early 5th round pick by the Giants. Bo. It's Bo too. There's no M there.
You don't pronounce
I
the
always
M.
mispronounce it. That's funny. But so yeah, you going live with Mariah? You guys back?
Allegedly.
Allegedly?
We'll see. Yeah. It's a game time decision.
Yes, Papa J. That's exactly what happened. The Carolina Panthers snagged him. Mm-hmm. He might actually be in our starting lineup this next season too. So I'd be kind of But all right. So, moving forward, when is it May 2nd or is it June 2nd when you're able to sign a free agent and it doesn't count against the compensation pick formula?
I have no idea.
I know it was either May 2nd or June 2nd. I can't remember which one it is. I've tried finding it and there's you can search and search and search and there's nothing about it.
I think didn't that already happen?
I think it was May 2nd.
I think it was May because I read something about a player and him getting picked up did not count toward that. So I'm pretty sure it's May 2nd.
I mean, when it comes to compensation picks, we should be maxed out this next year.
Yeah, I believe we already have 3 or 4 coming to us, and that's the max. So we're going to have another draft with a whole bunch of picks. And so we get to restock on some youth even more.
Yeah. And I was honestly surprised that we didn't trade up here and there. And, we made 0 moves on draft day, which is kind of rare. Normally we trade up, trade back. We do some wheeling and dealing.
Yeah.
And we standed pat the whole draft, Well,
one thing,
when it comes to the 2022 draft, at this point it's time to grade it, right? So I'm giving it a C because we found Brock Purdy, but that's it. That's the best I can do because the rest of the picks are kind of
Mm-hmm.
You know, 2023, we got OD Winners.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he needs to be able to stay healthy. You know, he gets dinged up and nicked up, seems like every game.
Just needs to take care of his body a little more.
But
A little less flying
I don't
around.
even know. Like I was thinking, is F plus a thing? It's not, is it?
No. It's an F, it's an F.
But yeah, 2023, no, it was bad. 2024, it's looking good. I'm not willing to give it a grade yet.
Mm-hmm.
This next season's their second year, and then I'll be
let it
willing
play
to
out
give
a little
that
bit
one a
more.
grade that off season. You know.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, the draft, if you listen to John, he said early on, like, we need all 11 picks. I think his game plan was to pick all 11 because we need that infusion of guys on the roster. Now, on draft day, he did say that he tried to move up to get Mikael Williams because they really wanted him, but no one would trade with him. So I think that was the only guy they probably wanted to move up for. Everything else, they just, after he dropped, they was like, okay, let's stay put and just let it all come to us because we need these picks. And they just trusted their board and trusted their process. No need to go up and get people.
That's exactly it. Is that the Niners didn't feel a need to move around and trade. You know, Brandon Ayuk still a 49er. Will we see him next season? Who knows? I'm not counting on it. I'm just not. You
never know.
The type of knee injury he suffered, I kind of feel like we should sit him out and, see him in 2027. But or 2026. That's me. That's me, though.
It all depends on his healing. Some guys heal quicker and better than others, right? Mm-hmm. So it all depends on his healing, and just take their time with it. Don't try to rush him back. He shouldn't try to rush himself back. Just come back at the proper time. That's all I can say.
Kenny, does your mom know you say that stuff?
That's dirty talk. This is a family show. What are you doing? What are you doing? My goodness.
I mean, it's like, sure, let's sign the quarterback who's on his last leg, like literally, to a 1-year deal, and then we'll just jettison the guy that we found and the Niners are currently in contract negotiations with, just for this 1 year of we don't know.
Exactly. No one knows.
We would not. We don't know how he would perform.
Yeah.
He don't have the wheels he used to have. I mean, would he do good playing behind this offensive line? Maybe. He
would. Our offensive line is fine. Plus, he's a throwaway king, so.
That's true. Oh, boy. The only trades were from, oh, my goodness. Now, which one are you talking about? Because I know Shiloh ended up changing his agent from his dad to a real agent, and he signed like undrafted free agency. But yeah, that's true, media. We're actually, believe it or not, we're gonna wind it down because Ty's got a show here. But on Wednesday, me and Kenny's going to be talking about the Niners drafts since the Lynch and Shanahan era up until now. So tune in for that, folks. That should be good.
And you should take a look at how many O-linemen they've drafted and brought in and tried to build with. I think that's a very interesting exploration to have. And check that out.
It is. You know, me and Kenny, we debate a lot, folks. Like, you don't know. You know, we text back and forth. And half the time I'm thinking we should save this because this would make good content. So Kenny, I'm going to start telling you that, just so you know. This would make good content. We need to do this live on YouTube.
He's going to tell you that's a reach. That content is a reach.
But yeah, folks, we're going to get out of here. Don't forget, tune into East Coast Red and Gold, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Check them out. Check the crew out. They're cool. And then to tune into Corey Davis 49er Wednesday, because we're going to be chopping it up. Maybe even do a little bit of weird 49er trivia. I got to find some questions that aren't normal.
Yeah, you got to get that going on. That's always fun stuff.
I do. We do. Well, that I mean the whole going through the drafts, that might actually take a while.
Yeah.
Because it really might actually take a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, but all right, folks, everyone have a great night.
That's
and
right.
as Corey Davis says, go 49ers and F all 31 other teams.